So the other thing we would like to talk about is tools and office setup. I basically asked myself, what is the most cost-effective but most bang for your buck equipment that you can get that could last for a good amount of years for your staff, but also every single one of these could also be very good for yourself too. So let's go through it.
Welcome to my legal academy, helping lawyers work smart, scale fast, and enjoy life.
So first is a monitor. Let's talk about monitors. Everybody needs to have a good big monitor. Everybody has different tastes. Some people like one big giant monitor. Some people like two giant monitors. It's all good. I think it's just a matter of taste. But at the very least, I think it does make sense for everybody to have one big monitor. What are our choices? Well, you have a couple of different sizes. The minimum size I recommend is ideally either a 34-inch or a 49-inch. I went through the different variations of it, starting off with, I don't know how big it was, but like 19-inch, then 24, then 27, then 34 and 49. But every time that I went up, I did notice it increased my productivity. The bigger the monitor, more productive you will be. I do also feel like if you have too many monitors, it could also be counterproductive because you have too many things going on. Some choices, the one that I have is this particular one, either 34-inch, 49-inch. It doesn't really matter which one, but something to be mindful of is the amount of hertz. This is basically the refresh rate. Basically, when you move something or when you watch a video, how fast the screens change, what that looks like. So ideally, you want to have something above 60 minimum and look for at least maybe 120. And the other thing that's important is the resolution. It's basically how good the monitor is. This particular one, that's the resolution. Do some research on Amazon. The size really matters, either 34 or 49-inch. Second most important thing is your computer. Actually, maybe your computer is more important than monitor, but your computer also is really important. Your computer is an investment, and it also affects your work every single minute that you're working. So it's definitely worthwhile to be able to invest in a good computer. There's two worlds, Windows or Mac. I'm not going to talk about which one's better, things like that. I happen to be on Mac, but good news is just recently, just a couple of weeks ago, Apple released a Mac Mini, an updated Mac Mini. Everybody has been blown away about how good this is compared to how much it is. So if you are not happy with your computer, I would highly recommend looking into this computer. The reason why it's really good is it has the M2 chip. M1 or M2 are both fast, doesn't matter which one, but at the very least, M chip just makes your computer much faster. I used to be on another Mac, a pretty good Mac that wasn't an M chip. As soon as I got the M chip, I'm like, whoa, what is this? It's like a whole different level of fast speed. Other thing to consideration to have in mind is the amount of memory. Memory is basically how many apps you can have open and how fast they're operating. 8 gigs is good enough as long as you're on an M2 chip. And then the other thing that really does matter a lot is the amount of space that you have, which is basically this SSD storage. If you have things stored on the cloud, then that's probably good enough. Or if you have things stored on your computer or you have videos, then you definitely want to upgrade this to something above like 512 or even 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes. Me, myself, I have a lot of files and I want things locally on my computer. So I do myself have at least, I believe, 2 terabytes of space, which gives me ease of mind that I could always download stuff, save stuff, have as much stuff there, and I don't have to worry. So yeah, if you've been on the fence, I highly recommend using this as inspiration to update your computer. This is the way that this Mac Mini works is it's just a computer. You still have to plug in an external monitor to it. It's a small little computer like this size like this, and it's great. Keyboard, mouse pad. You need particular ones. USB hubs, if you need to connect different, you need to connect your devices to your computer. There's 2 types, either this particular one, if your computer has a USB, then it's this one. Because I found in Facebook group posts that people didn't know either that exists or were confused about how to connect stuff. But it comes down to these 2. Essentially, it depends on what kind of inputs your computer has. Your computer either has these small ones or it has these bigger ones. This is USB. This is USB-C. This is a little bit newer. And you get one of these USB hubs and you're able to basically connect different devices in different shape or form into it. So if you need that, just go to required office setup. The USB hubs, you'll be able to find that. Printer, Brother is one of the cheapest and probably one of the most dependable printers I've ever had. It's great. It's a laser printer, so you rarely have to change the laser on it. Hopefully nobody is using ink printers these days. You'll have to kind of save on a lot of costs if you have one of these laser printers. It's much faster, a lot more cost effective if you have these. Brother is very highly rated and most bang for your buck kind of printer you can get. Headset, make sure your intakers have a good headset. This is a very good one. Anybody who takes on the call needs to have a good headset. Or if you're on audio, I recommend for us to have our microphone that sits on our computer. But if you're going to be talking on the phone a lot, then this could be a very good one. And scanner, the Fujitsu ScanSnap is probably the most popular one. Fujitsu ScanSnap is probably the most popular one. These particular ones quickly scans things. So those are kind of required stuff, but let's go down the list for other stuff that is not as required, but pretty recommended. Everybody also required. Third most important thing to have is to have a good microphone. We have different options here, as from fancy as it gets to, you know, being a little bit more price conscious. I would say any of these middle ones, anywhere from $70 to $130 is a good place to be, especially this Blue Yeti and the Shure, this particular one, this one. If I were to get one at this stage, I would probably get this. Everybody needs to sound good these days. You're on Zoom meetings with your clients, prospects, wherever, you need to sound good. You can do yourself justice. I personally use the Shure SMB7. The downside with this is it's probably a little bit too fancy and too much. It also requires you to buy like one or two stuff like audio processors and all these things. Sounds good, it's well worth it for me, but I think it could be potentially overkill for most of us. The one that I am eyeing is what I'm eyeing next, which is as fancy as it gets, but definitely overkill. Webcam, ideally, if your computer has webcam, that's ideal. I've tested out buying different variations of these cameras. I always came back to using the one that's on my computer. The reason is just much simpler. I don't have to set anything up, it's just right here. I open it up and I'm able to use it for that particular reason. But if you want to get really fancy, potentially the Insta360 I think is probably the best. It's kind of AI enabled, which they just put AI in front of it, but basically it allows you to like follow you along. It has all these cool little settings. You could check it out. That's a pretty expensive one, but there's other popular ones. Ideally you want it to be 4K these days. There's another one for $130 potentially. Again, it's like a upfront investment that you'll be able to use for 5-10 years, maybe 5 years. Light, ideal light, natural light facing a window. If not, ideally some form of ring light or some kind of light coming on the sides. That's Elgato one, pretty fancy. Also, this one I absolutely love, desk lamp or the monitor light. I love this. For some reason I cannot work without this light on my basically sits on my monitor. It puts the light on my entire desk. This particular brand I think is expensive. I'm sure there's cheaper ones, something like this. Just gives, if you love light, this is one of the best things you could get. Adds a good amount of light to your desk and it just sits on your monitor basically.
Hey, hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you're a lawyer and you're looking to work smart, scale fast, and enjoy life, right below this video you'll find a link to book a call to speak to my team so we can tell you how we've been able to help over 500 law firm owners scale their law firm. Now back to the video.
I highly recommend that. If you wanted to have cool disco lights or something, that's one you could look into. Govee smart lights. Printer we talked about, scanner we talked about, standing desk. I highly recommend also investing in a standing desk. Doesn't have to be this particular one. Any standing desk will do as long as it's electric. I can't imagine you manually sitting there, using it, but just make sure that it's electric. Just measure the biggest size that you can fit into your office room and just look up that size on Amazon. It does increase your productivity for sure. It's not only is it good for your back and your health, but also makes you present better, speak better, think better, work faster. There's a reason why I kind of always do my presentations or things on my feet. You're a lot more open to talking and expressing yourself when you're standing. L-shaped standing desk. You'll find some. Honestly, it doesn't matter which one you get, as long as it has good enough reviews and it's electric. That's all you need to look for, and then just make sure you get the right size. Just get the biggest size you can get. Chairs, I actually did a good amount of research to find the best bang for your buck chair. The time when I had to decide on a chair, it wasn't that much. This particular one, it's right down the middle for pricing, because these chairs could get really expensive too. Yeah, less than 200 bucks for a really good, honestly, it's really good. I used to have severe back issues and haven't had any severe back issues because of the chair. Yeah, good chair. Obviously, because you're sitting on it. Armin recommends rollerblade wheels, totally, and protects your floors. Nice, totally. If you're standing a lot and you have a standing desk, potentially floor mat. Brandon agrees. No, yeah. The Touchpad, which is the Stream Deck. I still haven't got to recording this video yet, and probably requires its own explanation and things. So not getting get into it. It's like opening up a can of worms that I don't want to get into yet. And let me just create that video. And once I create that video, I guess I'll share it with you guys, just to give you guys a little. Yeah, here's how it works. Let me just, I guess, do a little gist of it. So it looks like this. There's different sizes. I think I got the middle size, not too much. I don't need 60 buttons. This is 5 times 3 is 15. 15 is good. So not too little, not too much. And here's what it can do. What I'm gonna do is, when I press on these physical buttons that's sitting on my computer. All right, the first one is launch Google Calendar. So in one shot, I'm on the phone. What is the schedule? When can we talk? Right away, I click on that. I could just see, oh, I could talk to you Wednesday at 3 p.m. I'm on the phone. I need to create a calendar. Well, new event. Quickly, Zoom, Mike Smith, plus Sam Mollaei. Mike Smith. I don't know where you are, but I'll just put Michael Ashuri. I have a Google Workspace Zoom integration. I don't even have to add the Zoom link in there. Bam, save, sends out the thing within 10 seconds. Next is Gmail. This button just launches my Gmail, but it also automatically goes to Sam's attention. These are only the emails that I only answer. All the emails that are unread to my attention in Gmail. So it's literally honing in only on those emails, the ones that I need to respond back to. Next is YouTube, my watch later list. Next is I have my date and time right here. I don't have a. Next is Spotify, pause and unpause music. Next is iMessage. That's my life, basically all my messages. Next is Office Light. This is IFTT, my only IFTT integration. There we go, bam. Next is a ring light. This ring light is the Elgato. Yeah, that's how I have good light. That's what that is. Next is my password manager. I click on that, my password manager quickly pops up. I'm able to search whatever I need to do. Next is Todoist, where I keep track of all the tasks that I have to do. I live on Todoist. I also live on Text Edit. Quickly take notes, save it in different places. Next, for Loom, press the button back, automatically creates that recording. And last one is Zoom, automatically basically launches Zoom. I'll make a YouTube video. I think I just went through it. I'll make a Loom video showing exactly how each of these are set up. It's pretty straightforward. Usually it's either like a website that's being launched or an app that's being launched. And sometimes it's a little bit more complex. It requires explanation. So I'll try to make a video for each of these.